Thank you very much for the kind welcoming, and I'm really happy to be here. And at the same time, I have to apologize because I somehow crashed the agenda. I'm coming directly from the German Bundestag, where we had extended debate and in the course of the COVID-19 situation, and some items of the agenda shifted, and I'm really happy to talk today about education and the potential educational collaboration between the Baltic countries and Germany. In all what I'm saying, I'm referring to a visit the Committee for Education and Research organized in March 2019 under my supervision to Estonia and Latvia. And during the visit, we were at the German Gymnasium Secondary School, the University of Tartu, the e-shore room, and at some other institutions, both in Estonia and Latvia, visiting institutions and contemplating education and the digitization in education. The questions we were concerned with were at first the learned appreciation, what has been achieved under the digitization primarily in Estonia, but I also refer to the activities in the other Baltic countries and that enable to transform questions of education into digitization. From what we've learned and appreciated relatively quick, we shifted to an experienced appreciations, because what we learned was very useful, starting from the problems we have in Germany, how far Estonia has evolved under this development. If you're looking at this, both countries spend similar amounts from their GDP. Germany slightly below the German average, the European average at 4.5%, Estonia at 4.9%. So this is a comparable figure. But if you look at what has evolved in Estonia, then the conclusion would be that we have to do some kind of homework in Germany. If you see that Estonia has a national foundation for the promotion of digital learning, meaning a central structure pushing the subjects for the entire country and implements them, and that it has a central database, EHIS, with German letters, having an information database where all products and contents are accessible to everybody. And if you look at the fact that under the program eSchool, a holistic system is offered for learning, accessible to everybody, and digital books under the digital revolution 2019-22, then this is far more we have available in Germany right now. If you look at the basics, then as far as I see it, there are some aspects that need to be considered that shouldn't lead to an acute depression in Germany on our side. Why? If you look at the development, then we have the situation that the Baltic countries started at the beginning of the 90s at a homogeneous level. which was really deficient. And based on this, decisions were made to transform the society not only to the state of the art, but rather to develop it into the future with the definition of the X road. So eventually the data technology and regulatory fundamentals for all these technical implementations. A major part of the governmental services were made accessible to everybody and formed the fundamentals for the products were a completely different starting point than the society we have in Germany, which is partly heterogeneous, but has much more evolved than in the Baltic country at this time.
So far, if we compare these two parts and we see all the solutions in Estonia in the field of education and using digitalization in the education, then a comparison is on the basic of benchmark of the possibility to transfer solutions from Estonia to Germany in a way possible that, like best practice examples, we should look at all the solutions in Estonia, which means that we in Germany have always a big discussion of data safety and data security, which means when we start and want to discuss all the possibilities of digitalization in the area of education, we start from the beginning of data security and data safety. And if you do this, you start in a, so to say, a little bit of bad mood, and you do not see the chances which are opening themselves in these fields. And so if we see the examples in education, the advantages of all these programs, then it's quite obvious for all the people in Germany, like to see best practice examples, to transfer these to Germany and to build up all the basic necessities to establish these structures also in Germany as well. In Germany, when we discuss digitalization within the education, in the moment we have a boost due to the Corona pandemic, which means homeschooling and all these things make it a necessity to use Zoom, to discuss like in school, to have e-schooling and all these things. And we see the problems we have to establish these in the daily work. But when we see the necessity and see the methods which are used, for example, in Estonia, then we can overcome all these problems. And I think a closer connection between a collaboration between the Baltic states and Germany in this field would help both sides, especially Germany, to see the advantages in this area when using consequently all the methods of digitalization within the field of education. In science, that's not a problem. We have in Germany a lot of elaborated system within the science area, but in the educational, in normal school, secondary school, primary school, we are nearly something like a development country.
Oh